Hello, welcome back to Little House in the Big Woods. So my last video was about me joining, it was the Global Gardening Homesteading, um, sorry, it's a new name, so I'm trying to get used to it still. Anyways, Global Gardening Homesteading Skills, I believe it's called something else, forgive me for not knowing the name. So today's video anyways is about what I'm going to grow this year. And also I'm going to talk about a little bit about what I learned from last year. So in this video, we're going to talk about also why I want to grow what I am going to grow. So anyways, so last year I learned that the location I had my garden was not in a very good location. It didn't get enough sunlight. I also learned some other things too. I've grown in the past inside before, but not to the extent that I was trying to grow last year. In previous years, I had one of those hoop house greenhouses and had that set up. Well, last year I had my greenhouse set up. The problem is the greenhouse didn't stay above temperatures until right up when we got into our, what we would call our spring. And then after it got up in there, our temperatures at night, we would still drop between 40 and 50 degrees. So all year long, we are susceptible to a frost all year. Well, last year, I just didn't, things just didn't go right in my grow room. I learned that I didn't have enough light in my grow room. Also, there wasn't enough heat in there, so it was cooler than it was supposed to be. So just an array of things that just didn't come together. So, I usually grow what I want to eat. I try to grow enough for my family and then some. So I did have some successes last year. We grew out some pigs. We grew out some quail. We also grew out chickens. We have meat in the freezer from those as well. So also something else I learned before we moved up here, I thought that I was in zone 5, I think it was 5A or 5B or something like that. After moving up here and seeing the temperatures while we lived here, I think that we're not in zone 5B because we are kind of like in where we are exactly is kind of in a little dip behind a hill, and so there's no sun that comes right directly on top of our house. And then we have some big tall pine trees in the back, and that shades the sun from coming to our house. Also shades the property where I had the garden last year. So my goal was to find an area on the property that received a lot of sunlight during the day. And there's a couple locations, but one location is where we would not have very good, we could get water, but we would not have very good water pressure. Certainly we could make it work, but I think that we have another location and it has more sunlight, but probably more critters. So we really have to, well, I do anyways, because I'm the one that plans the garden, I'm the one that plants the garden, and I'm the one that does the work for the garden. So my kids help me. I have one son that loves to do the garden things, and then my daughter also loves to be in the garden as well. So anyways, we've got this, some things I'm doing this year to try to help. There's a heater back in my mudroom where I'm doing starts. So I'm going to be using the heater to keep it warmer in there. Some other things I'm going to be doing is getting grow lights for more light in there to get better, stronger starts for when I get into the garden, because I mentioned this, we only have a 65 to a 68 day growing season. And if you're a gardener, you know that is not a very long time. So also being susceptible to frost all year long, because our evenings or our nights can drop down pretty low pretty quick. So I know I have goals. You see these seeds sitting in front of me, and I have these here. So to me, last year was not a fail. It was a learning experience. So that's what I did, learning. So this year, again, because I have to move the garden, the area where I have the greenhouse now, in which part of last year I didn't plant anything in the greenhouse. Looking back, I probably should have planted something in the greenhouse, because even if I did get critters in there, which I did last year, I would still maybe have something that grew better from the light, and also kept my pepper plants and my tomato plants a little bit warmer, and maybe would have gotten more growth from them. So I'm going to try again with the peppers and the tomatoes. So I have a few tomatoes. My husband loves tomatoes. So anyways, I'm going to step back here and start why I want to grow the things I want to grow. First off is knowing what I eat. Knowing what I eat, knowing what my family likes to eat, and knowing what I need to put in my pantry is, and that's how, and I want to do it for a year's time. I want to be able to do that. I want to be self-sufficient for that year and not have to go to the grocery store so much. Well, it's not me that has to go. I make the order, the Walmart order, and my husband picks it up. And then, he prefers not to have to do that. So it is something that something that I want to try to relieve from him, to, be able to grow our own foods. Not just our own foods, but, maybe things for medicinal purposes and things like that. I really just strive to be as self-sufficient as I can. So I've made menus of things that we eat on a regular basis. I'm not opposed to learning new recipes and trying new things. I just we know what we like to eat, and within those things that we like to eat, there's always new recipes that can come up with that. But having the things that we have, I am pretty resourceful when I have the things that I have that I know we like to eat. I know that there's different recipes that we could just throw together, and if we want something different. So I have, used a couple of different books. Oh gosh, it's probably been, I don't know. Anyways, as a gift a few years ago, a long time ago, I was given a book, and it was about growing and storing things that you would want to eat for a whole year. And in this book, I can't even remember the name of it, it told me about how much I needed to store for each person. So, I've gotten good ideas from that. I can't even find that other book, so I was going to show it to you guys, but of course it's eluded me, so I can find it. I've also looked at this book, A Year Without a Grocery Store, and it's very similar to the other book that I have, and it gives you organizing tips and cooking tips in here and storage ways and stuff like that. So that's nice to see. I've looked at it and thought it was a resource to use, but I had the other book and I think I like the other book a little bit better. I also got this book, and I know a couple other people that have this book. There are some recipes in here that I will try this year. I was hoping to have more soup recipes for canning, and there wasn't a lot in there, but there was some that I would. So I'm going to look for another one that might have some more soup recipes and stuff like that for that. So anyways, looking at these books gives me an idea of how much I really need to grow for our family. And then having a little extra in case we get visitors, and which we do get visitors. I have family that visits and things like that over the summer, and then I have littles that come up and visit me throughout the year. So if you haven't seen any of my videos, we have a lot of snow outside right now. A lot of people are getting ready for spring, you know. It's been spitter-spattering snow and stuff like that. And I'll attach some video of how much snow we actually have. So, but I do see the climate trying to change a little bit. We're not getting a steady accumulation anymore of snow. It's spittering, spattering snow, but it's not accumulating too much. And our snow is melting. It's just gonna be a little while before it gets all gone. The other thing that I notice is the birds. The birds are coming back. I see bugs starting to come back. So you know that it's gonna be time pretty soon. Things are gonna start warming up, and you know, we'll start seeing some changes. So last year when I did the garden and everything, I would set some of the starts outside and things like that to help me out. So anyways, let's get to the seed haul here. I love seeds. This year I only got seeds from Baker Creek, and there are a few more seeds that I thought I got, but I didn't. So I'll have to go back and reorder them. And those are some tomato seeds. So the biggest challenge that I'm going to have, I know, are the challenges that I had last year. Maybe not so much cucumbers, because I planted cucumbers. They just didn't come out very good. That'll be a cucumber, melons, squash, peppers, tomatoes, and those ones are mostly because the temperature has to be, they're a little bit more pickier than what others are. So gonna do my best to try better, and then that'll mean also that I need to bring in some soil and compost and all that stuff to have our garden beds a little bit better than what they were. I did not add any amendments last year because what it would said is that, you know, our soil was fine. We do have pine trees, so it's a little bit more you know, alkaline, and so anyways, there's a lot to go into a garden, and maybe not, I could probably keep talking about what I need to do, but I really want to show you my steps and what I'm going to do. So let's just get down to what I want to grow this year, and how much. So this was one of my son's picks. It's called a dragon egg cucumber. He's really into dragons right now. So we are gonna try that. This is a blue Hubbard squash. One of the things that I enjoy squash gives me, and so do my kids. And so I really wanted to try to get out some squash. In my research, I tried to pick squash that didn't take that long, but I still wanted to take a chance on. And some of this, what I might do is my mother-in-law she loves to grow things, and so I usually share some starts with her as well. And so maybe I can start it here, see how well it grows, and then also give her some starts for me and see if she can grow these as well, because these take a little bit more time to grow out, and they like a little bit warmer temperatures. So these grow out to be 15 to 40 pounds. They're sweet, fine grained, golden flesh, and they're great for baking pies and in soups. I've never had this Blue Hubbard squash before, so I really would like to try it. It just looked good. And I also think that one of the reasons that I got it was because it's stored for like 6 months on the shelf. So here is some early purple sprouting broccoli. It is frost hardy, so I could, and it's not supposed to take as many days to sprout. I should have read out how many days they take to mature, but I didn't. But most of these I picked because they didn't have as many days to sprout out, and most of them are frost hardy. This one is hardy down to 18 degrees. And I've grown broccoli before, and it's withstood a whole winter and then flowered again. My mother-in-law, she had it planted, and it was lovely. So another thing I'm going to try is some rutabagas. I thought for where we're at, our temperatures we're good, these are frost hardy. Let's try it, see if it grows. It does take 80 to 90 days to grow out. So this one had it on there. Now, I like purple things. So here's a few purple things that I got out to go. And we got a purple plum radish. And again, these are frost hardy, and I think these were the ones that did not take that long to grow out. If I'm right, I think these ones took 45 days. So they're frost hardy. And then we have some purple kale. Again, another frost hardy. These are not frost hardy, but it was something I wanted to try. They are Chinese string eggplant. I like to do stir fries, and so this will be one of the first things I start because it takes a while. I did have eggplants growing last year in the garden, but they did not flower out because they could not mature enough. So I'm going to try again with this Chinese string eggplant and see how we do. And then I've got some purple basil. It's purple ball basil. Again, not frost hardy, but if I can grow it in one of these containers, I have some containers out front. I love that it's purple, and it says it takes 60 days, and I love basil, so hopefully it tastes the same. But we had basil growing in the garden last year. It was something I started. We also have the regular basil, but something I started inside and then transplanted outside, and it grew fine. It was one of the things that was successful. So again, we have the regular basil, and we love to eat basil, period. So I got some pickling cucumbers. I have some other cucumbers in here as well. And the other thing that I'll probably start is this celery. So this will be another one of the first things I'll start with, eggplant and celery. Here we got some more beets. I am a beet loving person. I cannot eat beet tops, but I can eat beets. I love to pickle beets, and I've never had the golden beets, so I thought I'd try those. Both are frost hardy. We got this radish up, was a free one. So I tried those last year and we did have a few come up. This is a very frost hardy. It was flowering still when we still had a very heavy frost, and it's also used for medicinal purposes. It can be one of those plants that you can companion garden with. So it is one of the, it's now one of my new favorites because I know that it'll withstand temperatures up here. So this is a sorry, I never pronounce it right. Calendula, I can't pronounce it. Flower. So another flower we got was a poppy. Poppies grow, we have orange ones all over up here. And they are very happy up here, I should say. I don't know how else to say it. But I do have to transplant some of them because where they're at right now, there's just an abundance of them and they look really messy when they grow. But I've got some purple ones here and I'm going to try to plant these in along with these. And even where I didn't have, see, the ideal temp for these calendula flowers is 65, 70 degrees. So they're perfect for that. But where I had them, there wasn't a lot of sunlight, but they still did well. They still bloomed and everything like that. So I'm going to try, and I'll probably plant these in my daughter's memorial garden with my son's memorial garden, and along with the purple poppies. So I know poppies do well up here. And poppies are also frost hardy. So I got, these are my peppers here. California bell peppers, the California Wonder. And then I got a jalapeno. Oh, this one. And then as a free one, I got one of these. It's a Datil pepper. I've never grown it, but on the back of the package, it was one of the free seeds. Says it is a very hot seed. And then I got, this one is called a wax melon, giant bullet head. When I was looking on Baker Creek, I was looking for the squashes, and I seen this one on there. Well, it's melon actually, but it's, I guess, similar to a squash. When I looked on there, it said it could store up in the right temperatures for up to 12 months. So it says ideal temp is 65 to 90 degrees, and it is not frost hardy, and it needs a minimum of 8 to 12 hours of sun. So I know that it's not something I could probably get to mature, but I am still gonna try. It's still going to be probably one of those ones. I'll see if my mother-in-law grows. I've never seen this before, but it has a waxy overcoat, and then that's supposed to help it stay in storage for a long time. It says it's a popular melon mix variety in China, named for a long dark fruit which resembles a bullet. Excellent storage quality and snow white flesh. Countless recipes across Asia, from moon pie filling to curries, even wax melon punch. So that's just something I want to try. Every year I just try different things that I think that will look good and try that. So some other things: peas, green beans. I was gonna try to grow this, but it takes 120 days for this to grow. So I don't know if I'll be able to grow this. This is called the Big Max pumpkin, and so I know I don't have 120 days. I also know even if I start it 4 to 6 weeks early, it's still probably not going to be enough time to grow out any pumpkins. So we will see. If that's probably another thing I'll see. But I love pumpkins, so. And we've got squash, summer squash. This is another winter squash. I wanted to try. I don't remember how many days this takes, but it's different. So, of course, we got some beets, some Swiss chard, spinach, kale, have some artatsai. Something I've never ate before, kohlrabi. I've never grew it before either. I was going to plant it last year, never did. We got some, I have a whole array of herbs, you know, rosemary. This one I think is, it's Miriam. Borage. And this is thyme. I use all of these in cooking. We got some, that's the kohlrabi. Turnips, we enjoy turnips. Cabbage, I don't think I showed you the cabbage. There was this cabbage I was going to try. It is also in, matures earlier, so it's frost hardy as well. I think it matures faster than this one, but I like sauerkraut, so I wanted to try to can some sauerkraut. Let's see what else we got here. Some more melons. I didn't plant these last year. Something that would be nice to do, I don't know if I even have the space, but eventually, one of these days, maybe, I will have a garden or a greenhouse dedicated to squashes. But the problem with squashes and melons is they like to grow together and they will reproduce and give you something that you don't want. So it's best not to mix those and grow something. So another thing that I could do is maybe grow some squashes, melons separately. But anyways, so I wanted to try these. They're the Kajarian Tiger. I didn't get them planted last year. I have grown these before and they take 90 days. And I have froze these. These are really good pies. For pies, but I have not canned pumpkin before. I always just freeze it because I pull it out. We make pumpkin bread, we make pumpkin cookies, I make pumpkin pancakes, you name it, all kinds of stuff. I've got some, this was some of my painted mountain corn that I planted last year. And out of all the painted mountain, so anyways, my video is probably all over the place, but you get the idea. What I try to do is prepare for the year. I try to can only what we'll eat. You know, there's some things, kale, I'll just freeze, like you can powder, whatever. Everything that I want to plant, some of it, sure, I can't grow, but I would sure like to try to see what it tastes like. Anyways, so I have the main things that I want to grow, you know, and I've tried to make sure a lot of things are cold hardy. There are not some things that are just not cold hardy, and the growing seasons are a little bit longer than what they need to be. But I hope to show more this year of my gardening tactics, and I hope to come out more on the positive side, where we have food to freeze and can and preserve for our family. So if not, there are other ways. You know, there's you know, I've done it before. I've bought from, you know, little side gardeners and things like that I can use to fill my pantry. And then that's what I'll try, and then try again another year. So even if I have to put a heat lamp in the greenhouse or something, I do have an idea of what I want to do with the greenhouse, but we'll just see what comes, because a lot of it I have to wait and see where exactly I'm going to put it. So just to make it better. So one of these days I'll try to catch a time lapse of where the sun goes on the property, so you understand why we don't have sun. Makes it nice in the summertime, because we literally feel like we have two seasons. We have winter and summer, because we go right into frost at nighttime. Our temperatures are, they'll drop. No, in the nighttime and in the summertime, like I said, it's still chillier compared to other places. So, anyways, when it just drops down there, it doesn't keep warm, so I may end up having to use a heater in the greenhouse to keep things safe. But that's part of just getting to know where you're at and realizing what you need to grow. So if you are an adamant person, adamant grower, just to try to grow what you need, you'll go about that process and try to figure it out. So anyways, that's just the tip of the iceberg that I just, part of what I like to do is just try to grow things for our family. I just love having it available for our family and the littles that come up here, to try and encourage them to grow things for them to eat and show them how easy it is. So if I'm having a difficult time, I'm still going to succeed on something, even if it is kale. So thanks for stopping by Little House in the Big Woods. Oh, and we were able to get 2 bucks and another doe. So as soon as it gets a little bit warmer, we will, and they're an older one, and so they're probably about 2 years old, which, so anyways, they're old enough to breed our bunnies. So we will probably be having little bunnies sooner rather than later, but I would like to have something better for them too. Because right now they're in our hoop house, but our hoop house is still surrounded by snow. So there's just a lot to do on the property in the spring besides the garden. So you learn and you live and you learn. You really do. So anyways, I hope you're all having good days. And thanks for stopping by Little House in the Big Woods. Bye.